Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Kickin' Bass TV for another episode of Foodie Fishing Fridays. Today, we're going to be heading up to Fort Collins. I'll show you guys some of my favorite spots to fish up north, and we'll stop off for a bite to eat at the Exchange off College Avenue. Really cool outdoor patio area with a bunch of different local food vendor options. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down below. Let's go. All right, guys, today's episode of Foodie Fishing Fridays, we're headed up to northern Colorado to Fort Collins, where we're going to kick things off over to Prospect Pond's natural area, which is a cool spot right outside of town with multiple bodies of water next to the Poudre River. You can catch everything here in one spot, from bass to bluegill, sunfish, carp, perch, crappie, catfish, you name it. 90-minute drive from where I'm at in Golden, but managed to get here right before sunrise. And the first thing I noticed were a ton of panfish along the shoreline. So even though I didn't have a light combo with me, and the two rods I did have had heavier 12 and 14 pound line on them, I decided to tie on the smallest hook we had, one of our 1/2-inch mini maggots, and first thing we ended up getting into was this enormous baby bass. And even though I was thinking about eating this guy for our first snack of the day, he was a little bit undersized, so we threw him back to see if we could catch something bigger. With the fall transition now in full effect, having had the last few days in a row of consistently lower overnight temps, we talked about how those bass are going to start to transition to those deep water edge lines, those areas of thicker vegetation as that sun starts to pop up. But the last 30-40 minutes in the morning here before that sun rose, taking advantage of those bass that are still moving into the shallow flats and aggressively feeding higher in the column. Just like that, this guy came up, hit that weightless Texas rig craw in less than 2 feet of water, and we got our first decent bass of the morning. After that, we stopped off at the River Bend Ponds, not too far from where we just were. Another spot with multiple bodies of water, some really cool walking trails, different features on each, like this one that's more of a clear water fishery with a ton of laid down timber. This one's more of a green stain. Got some cool features like this walking bridge that separates these two lakes here. And we've caught everything up here in the past, from 4 and 5 pound bass to some 20-pound carp. Today we ended up getting into a handful of these awesome little sunfish here, which are another favorite species of mine because of the range of color that they have. And whenever I'm not fishing for bass, you tend to see me out chasing bluegills or sunnies. They're always fun to catch. From there, it was definitely starting to heat up outside, so to cool off, we decided to go grab a bite to eat in town off of College Avenue at a spot called the Exchange, which is a really cool outdoor courtyard setting with a bunch of different local food vendors. We got everything from Churn Ice Cream building here to the Chicken Cone, which is a cool spot with a very unique way of serving up fried chicken in a waffle cone. And since this is Kickin' Bass TV after all, had no choice but to go with the Kickin' Barbecue Ranch that did not disappoint. Paired that up with some delicious Cajun fries, a large vanilla malt courtesy of the homie Joe at the Churn, who's a fellow angler himself. Got a couple of street tacos from Vato's Tacos and Tequila. Next time you guys are up in Fort Collins, definitely stop by the Exchange off of College Avenue, support some of these local food vendors. For our final stop of the day, we're over at Roland Moore Park off of Shield Street. This is a great spot, a smaller local pond with some awesome fishing. They're not all officially listed on CPW. We've caught everything from bass to bluegill, carp, catfish, even some rainbow out of here. And it's definitely starting to look a lot more like fall, with half of these leaves starting to turn. So the name of the game is just covering water with those spinnerbait profiles. They've been doing us good all week with the beginning of the fall transition, and today was no different. As you can see, it only took us a couple of minutes. We had another decent bass come up and hammer that purple and green pumpkin, which is a great match for some of the bluegill that they feed on here. As you can see, actually started to get some cloud cover later on in the afternoon, but still 88 degrees out, meaning that typically this time of year, those bass are still going to be holding to deeper water or thicker vegetation until the night bite. But that cloud cover, cooling things down a little sooner, gives them the confidence to move up earlier, start feeding, which is why I love throwing a spinnerbait during the fall transition, because you can entice that feed bite. You can also draw a reaction strike because you've got the benefit of the noise, the vibration, and the visual flash created with the blades. Also your ability to mimic so many different types of bait fish profiles. And that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. Had a great time running around Fort Collins, caught some fish, ate some bomb food. If you enjoyed enjoyed it, hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell to stay up to date with our new videos and our next giveaway, which is coming up really soon. And if you have suggestions on places we should visit in future episodes of Foodie Fishing Fridays, leave me a comment down below. Until next time, guys, I'm D with Kickin' Bass TV.
Subscribe!